Welcome to Day 70. Today, we're diving into Deuteronomy chapters 1 and 2. It's fascinating how Moses recaps the journey of Israel from Horeb to the brink of the Promised Land.
Absolutely. Right from the start, Moses reminds the people where they've been and what God has commanded. How important do you think this historical recap is for Israel at this point?
It's crucial. After 40 years, they needed a reminder of God's faithfulness and their failures, especially their rebellion at Kadesh Barnea. It's like a coach reviewing past games before the big final.
That's a great analogy. Speaking of rebellion, the spies sent to scout the land came back with a good report, but the people were afraid. Why do you think fear took over despite God's promise?
Fear often clouds trust. Even when given evidence, the Israelites focused on the giants and fortified cities. It shows how easy it is to let obstacles overshadow promises.
True, and Moses' response was to encourage them not to be afraid, reminding them how God carried them like a parent carries a child. That image is both comforting and powerful.
Yeah, it highlights God's protective nature. But it's interesting that despite this, the people still doubted, leading to God's judgment that this generation wouldn't enter the land.
That judgment seems harsh at first glance, but looking deeper, it emphasizes the consequences of unbelief and disobedience. Do you think this message still resonates today?
Definitely. It's a reminder that faith requires action and trust, not just hearing promises. Doubt can really stall progress, whether personally or spiritually.
Moving on, Moses talks about appointing leaders to help bear the people's burdens. How do you see this leadership structure playing a role in community life?
It's a smart system. Delegating authority to wise, respected men prevents burnout and ensures justice. Makes me think about modern leadership. No one can do everything alone.
Right, and the emphasis on impartial judges who don't fear human opinion is pretty radical. Justice based on truth, not popularity, is a timeless ideal.
Exactly. It also sets a precedent for fairness, extending even to foreigners living among them. That shows an inclusive vision of justice.
Shifting to chapter 2, Israel's journey continues around Mount Seir. Notice how God instructs them not to fight with Edom or Moab, even though they pass through their lands.
That's intriguing. It respects existing boundaries and promises God made to other nations. It's a lesson in respecting neighbors and practicing self-control.
Plus, they were told to buy food and water from Edom, which suggests peaceful coexistence rather than conquest everywhere. How does this shape our understanding of Israel's mission?
It shows that conquest wasn't just about land grabbing. It followed divine timing and purpose. Patience and respect were part of the journey.
Another interesting part is the mention of the Rephaim and other ancient peoples. The text highlights the giants and formidable inhabitants, but also God's power over them.
Yeah, it's almost like a reminder that no matter how intimidating the opposition, God's promise stands firm. It's like facing a huge mountain, but knowing the path is already prepared.
The battles against Sihon and Og illustrate this. Despite their strength, they were defeated because God hardened Sihon's heart for Israel's sake.
That raises questions about divine sovereignty and human responsibility. It's a complex dynamic. God's control in history intertwined with human choices.
True. And the total destruction of Sihon's cities, including women and children, is difficult to read today. How do you interpret these commands in a modern ethical context?
It's challenging. Some see it as a specific historical judgment tied to God's justice in that era. Others wrestle with it morally. Context is key. Ancient warfare norms differ vastly from today's ethics.
Agreed. It's important to understand the narrative's historical and theological framework without glossing over the difficult aspects.
Definitely. Toward the end, Moses emphasizes that the Israelites did not approach the land of the Ammonites, respecting God's boundaries again.
That consistency in obeying divine limits stands out. Even in conquest, there were clear lines they wouldn't cross.
It reminds me that faithfulness sometimes means knowing when not to act or when to wait.
So looking at these two chapters as a whole, what do you think is the key takeaway for listeners today?
I'd say it's about trust in God's promises amidst uncertainty and the importance of obedient, patient leadership.
And also the reminder that fear can derail us, but God's guidance is always present, even if the path looks daunting.
Right. Plus, the balance between divine sovereignty and human responsibility invites us to reflect on how we participate in God's unfolding plan.
Before we wrap up, here's a thought. How do we apply the lessons of patience and respect for boundaries in today's fast-paced world?
That's a great question. Maybe it means resisting the urge to rush outcomes, honoring others' space, and trusting timing beyond our control.
Perfect. It's a challenge worth considering as we face our own wilderness moments.
Absolutely. Thanks for this enriching conversation.
Likewise, looking forward to exploring more next time. If you have enjoyed this, please like, subscribe, and share with others. God bless.